Here, formerly Dr. Zuckerbrand. Hope to see you soon.
This is Ray Churchill from the Eastern Connecticut Performing Arts Association inviting you to join us on June 3rd for the Eastern Connecticut Jazz, Soul, and Blues Festival at Urechko's Tree Farm. Our bands include Static, the Tim Fiervante Jazz Orchestra, the Mighty Soul Drivers, and the Effin' Blues Band. Tickets are available at ecpaa.org. Thank you to our title sponsor, MoheganSunCasino.com, as well as Jewett City Savings Bank, Collins & Jewell, DC Builders, Camaro Signs, and Nathan Kaliva Realtor. The Eastern Connecticut Jazz Festival, June 3rd. Get in the swing.
Life's been tough, and it's even tougher than ever to find a good therapist. But these days, all you hear is, "Sorry, we aren't accepting new patients." Next time, reach out to Life's Journey Counseling Services. They're located on Main Street, right in the middle of Jewett City, and they are accepting new patients right now. Individual, couples, family, and group counseling are all services available at Life's Journey Counseling Services in Jewett City. Find them online at lifesjourneyct.com and click on Book Appointment for information on how to start or to simply get questions answered. Life's Journey Counseling Services has multiple therapists on staff, so your questions, concerns, and counseling needs will all be met. lifesjourneyct.com. It's the best place to start your personal journey to heal, become a better version of yourself, and strengthen your relationships. Life's Journey Counseling Services, 70 Main Street, here in Jewett City, lifesjourneyct.com.
Hi, my name is Dr. Katina Simmons. I'm the optometrist and the new owner of Grizzled Eye Care, formerly the office of Dr. Joel Zuckerbrand. I would like to welcome you and your family to make an appointment today for an eye exam. Even though the name has changed, we are still providing the same family-friendly eye care as Dr. Z. We are located at 8 North Main Street in Jewett City. You can also find Grizzled Eye Care on Facebook and send us a message. Don't forget that eye exams correlate to your whole body health too. It's not just new glasses and contacts. So come see me, Dr. Katina Simmons, at the all-new Grizzled Eye Care, formerly Dr. Zuckerbrand. Hope to see you soon.
This is Ray Churchill from the Eastern Connecticut Performing Arts Association inviting you to join us on June 3rd for the Eastern Connecticut Jazz, Soul, and Blues Festival at Urechko's Tree Farm. Our bands include Static, the Tim Fiervante Jazz Orchestra, the Mighty Soul Drivers, and the Effin' Blues Band. Tickets are available at ecpaa.org. Thank you to our title sponsor, MoheganSunCasino.com, as well as Jewett City Savings Bank, Collins & Jewell, DC Builders, Camaro Signs, and Nathan Kaliva Realtor. The Eastern Connecticut Jazz Festival, June 3rd. Get in the swing.
Your community radio, live from Main Street.
Mike Minarski and Paul Lash in the morning and 80s all day and night.
SNSN.
Like they always say things that aren't stupid usually. And when they are stupid, it's funny.
I spy with my little eye a lot of freaking people in here today.
You're absolutely.
I did not expect this. I did not expect the party.
What'd you expect?
Well, there was a rumor on it was your birthday, Mike.
No.
We heard you were handing out donuts.
No, because they give you one, and I ate that.
Oh.
They only give you one. I wish they would give us like 10.
It's a tease.
It is. It's donut day. They get you in there.
Well, that's you.
They get you in there.
She's over there. Did you get her?
Who, Cathy?
Yeah.
No, I can't get her. How am I supposed to do that?
Doesn't that?
Come on, you're a medical worker.
There's those they don't turn automatically. You have to just use a remote.
That one's on Jim. Jim looks very stoic.
Well, you know I am to a degree.
Jim, can you pull the microphone, or we don't know, or get closer to it?
Sure.
There we go. Can't.
I mean, you got to be. I don't want to get that close to Paul, even though he showered this morning.
Paul's confused.
That's because he's drinking that stuff in that cup there. That's right.
Yeah.
So what are we doing today?
I don't know anymore.
What were you planning on doing?
Winging it. What do you got?
Well,
y'all showed up, so you must have something.
Well, Rich and I, we were at.
Or are we just playing radio today?
Rich and I were at the ordinance committee meeting last night.
Yeah.
And I think we had a pretty good meeting last night.
Yeah, I think it was very successful.
Organized. Finally, we weren't all talking over each other.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
and that drives me nuts, to be honest. With you, Rich. It really
It drives me nuts. Yeah, let someone finish their top say, and then you can
Right.
Yeah.
have a rebuttal. But
Yeah.
so I thought that was good. Everybody got to say what they wanted to say. There was no fighting, arguing, screaming, stuff like that. So
And then we selectmen wanted a few minor changes in that ordinance. And this is a short-term rental ordinance that we were talking about largely last night.
Yeah.
And so we sent it back to them and said, give us some guidelines.
There's a lot of things that they're trying to work out, get done. So I think we can finally get it done and have some kind of organized idea of what people want. And so that'd be good. I don't know if people even know about the short-term rental ordinance.
I don't think they know a lot about any of the orders.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Actually, Rich came in with a hell of a gavel last night. That's why we had control.
You got a gavel?
2.5 pound sledgehammer, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't listen at the knee.
Triple H? I mean,
Dana was sitting there wincing every time he pounded on the table. She thought he was going to make a hole in it.
Blubber Lang.
All right, that's my humor for the morning. All right.
Jim made it funny.
I think that was it. Keep it organized and everybody has a say. And
See, Biden got sandbagged at the Air Force Academy graduation.
when he fell,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
Tripped over a sandbag.
oh really?
I heard it was a flea.
I don't know if it was a cadet that was like, trip him.
So he tripped.
Yes, he did.
Except that he was making a speech and he walked away and he claimed it was a sandbag and he fell in his blood.
Yeah.
Oh, he falls down all the time.
Oh yeah.
When are they going to figure it out?
Figure what out?
He's not there.
Well, no. He's merely
He's not there.
He's a face piece.
Well, when you get older, sometimes you're not as stable as you were when you were 40 years
Yeah. But he looks like he's lost too.
old. And he doesn't walk in gaits. He kind of like, shuffles along.
He walks around with someone like has Alzheimer's. Yeah. Yeah. So unfortunately,
He's doing the senior shuffle.
yeah.
And unfortunately, that's a horrible disease.
Yeah. He should be just relaxing, doing what they. It's almost like a puppet. It's kind of sad.
Ordering puree from the menu.
Yeah. He's gonna run again, so
Yeah, he is.
or shuffle again, whatever you want.
There's about 17 Republicans.
Yep.
Well, I mean, he's got to say he's going to run.
He's a placeholder, probably.
Yeah.
Because if he says that he's not running, then he's lame. He's a lame duck president.
Well, there's a couple
know.
of governors that are
In the primary.
Who's that?
I don't know where they're from, but there are 2 governors that are running against the president.
I guess Chris Christie just threw his hat in the ring, too. Or he's about to.
From Jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's got
Snowball.
some chance.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, if you look back at some of the people that have won it, look at Mike, Bill Clinton from Arkansas, for one.
Yep.
He was an unknown. And there's a couple others that I can't think of at the moment that basically came in. Well, Trump.
Yeah. They thought he had no chance.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it says something about the people is they're really pretty sick of where this government is going. And it's not, as far as I'm concerned, we haven't had a decent president from back before the first Bush. And that includes Republicans and Democrats.
You weren't a Jimmy Carter fan?
I learned some things about Carter way after the fact. So
Did he do anything horrible?
not compared to most of them.
Not compared to Biden.
Was that Facebook users and the like us talking about people who fall?
I don't know. There's a comment. Is this pick on people who fall day? I fall all the time.
We'll pick on you now.
Well, not fall, but my balance is shot.
Well, I think that's the thing is people don't realize we're not talking about people who fall. We're talking about people who are being used and who can't think and are not in their right mind to make decisions. That's
This is a little bit different because this guy is probably the most important man in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
He's very important.
Yeah.
And to see him fall like that is horrible. I mean, how many times does the guy fall?
Yeah, it's not once.
Not once.
Yeah.
I'm not making fun of him. It's just that.
Well, I feel
it's a concern.
Yeah.
It's a concern.
It's definitely a concern.
I mean, he doesn't. How do we look in front of all these foreign countries?
I don't know.
He almost
Not good.
I almost fell. I think he almost fell on his butt in Japan.
Mm-hmm. It falls down the stairs of Air Force One. The helicopter
stairs.
Fell up the stairs.
Yeah. I think it's because he's not really walking. So
what is he doing?
It's like we're saying like you said, the dementia shuffle.
Let's just hope that none of us end up that way.
Yeah.
See, has there? I mean, a lot of people talk about, President Biden having sundowners.
Yep.
Has that actually been something that's been put out there by a physician, or is this just, hey, Joe's got dementia? Is that just rumor? Because we're spreading a lot of rumors about some dude. I mean, how old is he?
81.
Okay.
Well, I think
he's an older man. Okay. My dad's 80. I know other people in their 80s. 2 were sitting across from me.
Yeah, but I think the point is they're in their 80s. Look how they can talk.
Yeah,
can
but
make full sentences and comment.
These guys are not of the norm.
Well, 80?
80? Yeah.
You can look at him. I'm sure we all know people that have some kind of dementia and Alzheimer's. It's a very distinct look, and he's got that distinct look.
And unfortunately, some of the data I've read, not recently, is that by 2050, like something like 40% of us are going to have it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess my point is that it has.
Well,
everybody talks about it,
mm-hmm.
and everybody says, "Oh, well, like you're just saying, he's got that look." But has there been a medical professional come out and saying the president has dementia?
No, they won't. They can't.
No.
They're not allowed. They're not allowed. And yeah, well, not only that, but the president, they get a physical all the time, but the doctors, you're still protected by HIPAA. So, and like that, what's going to happen if they?
I don't think he has dementia.
I think he has.
I think he has, like any older person, you forget a lot. As you get older, you forget.
I think there's a lot of difference between forgetting a lot and having.
You can hear by the way he talks sometimes, and the way he's forgetting stuff, and the way he's talking about something, and then suddenly he's talking about something else. Doesn't know who somebody is. Doesn't. So
shaking hands.
I think think about it. What would happen if someone came out and said the president has dementia and Alzheimer's?
Yeah, they'd ask him to step down.
Yeah.
Well, Reagan had
Not
it.
fall down.
Mm-hmm. Reagan had it.
Yeah, Reagan had it. They covered it up.
Covered it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it would make the country look even worse than it is now.
Daryl from the Healthy Computer, School Street, Jewett City, right next to. What is he next to?
The groomers.
The dog groomer. That's right. He's right next to the dog groomer. He says Biden is 80. What doesn't he have? The presidency will add a huge amount of years on you. Look at prior presidents from when they were first elected, that Daryl says when they were fist elected,
Yep.
to the time they leave.
Well, definitely. But I think if, like anything else, if you have Alzheimer's or dementia, or even the way he is, if he doesn't have that, you can't do the job. You can't do it. I mean, honestly, the medical condition doesn't matter.
So let me ask you this. Knights of the Round Table.
Yes.
Let's say that he does run. Do you vote for him? Let's say he's the only one running. It's just Joe.
Yep.
Do you vote for him or do you not vote for him based on either A, I think he's ill, or B,
He's just too old to be president.
Yeah, technically, that's even
Okay.
more scary.
But let's throw that out. I want to focus this just on Joe. What I mean, do you not vote for him because of which one of those two reasons, or is there a third reason?
I don't think
I think there's a third reason.
Okay, all right.
And that is that if, irregardless of whether there was or wasn't voting corruption,
Irregardless is not a word.
If the information about him and his family in Ukraine had gotten out prior to the election, I don't think he would have won the election no matter what.
Well, I think a lot of people kind of agree with you that would not be the reason. I mean, let's face it, that's what we're damn. The reason that I probably would not vote for him because of what he's done in this term, not necessarily his policies, but how he acts in front of, how we look in front of other countries. We don't look good, you know. We need somebody young in there. That's why I would vote for him. Not because of his age, not because of, that would be the reason.
Has this last election taught us that we do need somebody maybe that's younger?
I think so.
Well, we got the same issue with the Congress too, Mike. And that is, I mean, we've had people in Congress that were barely functioning. Okay, and so we have age limitations for certain things. Okay, maybe there should be an age limitation for when you can throw your hat in the ring for president.
I think Joanne McCoy has a good point there. I'm not looking at age even really, because there's a lot of high functioning people in their 80s.
Yeah.
So I'm looking
and that's
at
why I said
their mental status.
We're looking across the table here, and we say, well, this is not the norm. These two.
Well, I think the norm is, if you're that age, you really are cognizant. You know what's going on. I think the abnorm is people that don't know what's going on. And
well, I got to push back, Rich, and that is because, many times the presidency runs for 8 years. Okay, if you're an incumbent, you got a high risk, you got a high chance of winning again. So you take somebody that's in there at 75, which is what was he's 80 now, so he was 77 or so when he ran for president. You talk about 8 more years. How many of us are that cognizant in our mid 80s? Now I know people. I got a friend that I camp with. He's in his 90s. Okay, he's still driving his motorhome. He's got a cane because he's got a little physical infirmity, but his brain is still fine. Yeah, but it's a small number that are at that age that are
look down the road.
Yeah. And some of these people in their 80s and 90s can function better than some of them in their 50s.
Yeah, that's what.
Daryl says if the Republican Party could add some sort of moderate instead of a Trump parrot, they could easily sway my vote. Daryl, love you. However, it's
doing the same thing.
You're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
That's like now you're trying to Trump parrot. Whether you like Trump or you don't, you're saying the same thing. I mean, don't we need somebody that is cognizant of most of the views that are affected this country? Whether I would rather see somebody closer to the aisle, than a far left or a far right, which I think we've had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have more divisiveness in this country right now than we had probably except for the Civil War.
So Joanne was saying this is what Rich was speaking to. It's not the age and his mental and physical condition. I know older adults that are very capable of working and holding a public office. And again, look at the two guys over here. So there you go. DM Foley, good morning. Our local author friend who's going to be on the show Monday, by the way.
All right.
And Tuesday, by the way, we're going to have Alex Grislak from the Board of Finance. So next week is starting to fill up.
Wow.
It is elder abuse allowing him to remain in his office or to rerun. I am not making fun of him at all. If this was your grandfather, would you allow him to be paraded in front of the world knowing he clearly was in decline?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah.
Beautiful comment.
Yeah. She's a writer. That's why. And her 5th book is coming out. We'll talk about it.
I wish I could write.
Yeah.
Why don't you? You're smart as a whip.
Do it.
I'm just not a good. I'm not a good writer.
You don't have to be a good writer. You just got to write your ideas, and someone else can organize it.
I mean, so some people can just sit down and just and they can write a whole book.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got to sit down and I got to put it together piece by piece.
That's because of your training.
Yeah,
You're an engineer, so you have to.
Yeah, there's something to
If
that.
you were not an engineer, you'd have a different mindset.
yeah, like me.
Yeah, like me.
Yeah.
Joanne says, it seems to me judging by age is discrimination. All presidents need a mental checkup as well as a yearly physical.
Well, it isn't and isn't, because there's a lot of jobs that do have requirements that are age, physical fitness, because of the function of the job, what you have to do. So if it's not age discrimination, because you have to be a minimum age to be a president.
Yeah, you could say there's a discrimination in the fire department.
Yeah, people try that, but you have
You know,
to perform a certain function.
Yeah.
And it's scientifically proven you can't when most people are around that age.
Yeah.
So
I think that's kind of what we're driving.
Yeah.
At. That's a good way of summing
Yeah.
that.
So there's a lot of have tos in order to do something. And if a president, you have to be able to wake up and be able to function at none of this. Well, I don't work when it's dark out. I don't work at this hour in the morning. You have to do it 24/7. There's not and you can't say the president can't get up. I'm sorry you bombed Hawaii again, but he's got to take his cat nap. It's not
I mean, imagine me trying to carry you down a ladder from a burning building.
right.
Okay, that's an
Yeah.
impossibility.
So
Most of us would die.
yeah, that's why they have those requirements. And it's not this, you can look at it as not discrimination. It's actually for that person's safety and their,
Well, the welfare of all concerned.
everybody, right? Yeah. And it sucks that they have the limits, but there's a reason for it.
I don't think anybody has any kind of problem
With what?
with Joe Biden person. Who he is and stuff
I don't.
like that.
I don't know the guy. I may want to sit down and have dinner with him. Maybe we'll have a good time.
Matter of fact, we don't know. You know, a lot of things.
Mhm.
We are only, and the big picture to me is that we only see what is put out there by the national news media, CNN, Fox, CNBC. You know, right? These are the folks that are really swaying your opinion.
Yeah. Normally, I'd 100% agree, 125% agree with you, but what they're putting out there is
Garbage.
well, no, I mean just on the fact that he can't. It's everywhere. It's not necessarily just. It's not one Fox News or CNN or CNBC or certain. Media.
Those are the ones that just came to my
No,
head.
I'm just saying they all have their own interests, but they all have the same thing now.
But see, there's very few news aggregators, and all these people are getting their news from the same source. So you get 2 or 3 major aggregators that are feeding all of these other places. So then, no wonder the narrative is the same, and that's the only narrative we get,
right?
Because they're taking and trying to discriminating against anybody that disagrees with them.
Oh yeah,
It is discrimination.
But it's also it's on live TV. It's not necessarily them throwing little bits on Snapchat.
Yeah, but people also remember the last thing they see.
Yep.
Well, yeah, it's important.
You know?
What was the last thing I heard, good or bad, about anybody? That's the thing that's.
Well, it was me, probably bad.
Oh, you were quiet.
I should say this is double negative. I'm not a fan.
So you are a fan
of
of
Joe,
him.
right? I mean, you know,
you don't have anything
of Joe
against
Biden. I'm
him.
not. I don't have anything against him.
Gotcha.
I think he won because everybody was thinking Trump was way too much and over the top, and I think that the media had a lot to do with that.
Absolutely.
And guess what? And swaying people's opinions. But in retrospect, it's happening with Biden too. It's the same thing. So who's pulling the strings?
Well, I guess my main point is they're not making him trip. They're not making him not know what he's talking about. They're not making him forget everything. They're not.
And so everybody trips. Everybody trips.
Yeah, but he's tripping all the time now.
I mean,
he's
80 years old. It could happen.
when you have a cue card in front of you to respond to audience questions, and you say, turn the page, it says on the bottom
Mhm.
page over, he reads that.
Yeah.
That kind of tells you,
Yeah.
what's with
Or
this guy.
forgets the name of the person he's talking to on a regular basis.
Right,
Or
or it seems like he's had parents from every, he's had a Puerto Rican parent, he's a black parent, he's had an Asian parent. Everybody he turns around, he's got a parent of some different, some,
Mhm.
I don't know.
I mean,
I think a lot of Trump's issue was that, as a person, it's a scumbag.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a politician.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
He's a ruthless businessman.
That too.
That too.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would think that because of all the, part of it probably is innuendo, but much of it is probably true about his relationship with women.
Mhm.
Okay, I think a lot of women would be turned off voting for him just for that reason.
Mhm.
What did he come out and say? I agree.
Yeah.
You just don't come out and say that stuff.
Which one you're talking about? Which one are you talking
been
about?
so many things.
The last one, something about the rape or something, or
She's going to Russia.
oh, that one too. Yeah,
She's
yeah.
going
Joanne goes on to say, I'm not a fan of Joe Biden, but I was so embarrassed for him.
Yeah.
Mike Greca says Biden is just a puppet.
Somebody's pulling the strings.
Which is why I think they didn't like Trump. He wasn't a puppet. That was the biggest problem he had.
The biggest problem Trump had is he surrounded himself with people who were out to get him.
Well, that too. Yeah.
Okay, I mean,
They're all businessmen.
His daughter's husband is a buddy with George Soros. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Soros doesn't stand for anything that I stand for.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Mike Greca also goes on to say that the president is whoever controls the teleprompter.
Yeah, if they let him. I mean, the president can make his own ideas, but the president normally has to abide by what the government tells him. That's the way the government's supposed to be set up.
You can't think on his feet.
Yeah.
Apparently, he can't stay on his feet.
That's it. Ah.
You're bad
Sorry,
now.
Joe. I'm so sorry. That was wrong.
But basically, we have allowed the president to usurp the power of the
Right.
Congress. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a real problem.
Yeah, with their executive orders and
all
stuff.
these executive
Right.
orders. Yeah.
Yeah, that's gotten out of control.
Rachel says nowadays several of the national news channels, not mentioning names, should start their report with "Once upon a time." Cathy, what are you doing?
She's busy Facebook and other stuff.
She's researching to feed us information.
Yeah.
Kathy is our producer today. It's funny because we'll say it's Mike and a Wasilek. You never know.
Yeah.
Could be Rich. Could be Kathy. Today it's both. And a Jim.
And a Paul, right?
And a Paul. Well, Paul is always there.
So the debt ceiling apparently is going to be passed. Like,
Yeah, they raised it, right? Yeah.
That's another thing that is meaningless.
Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get that. I mean, 80% of the money we owe to ourselves.
I don't think anybody knows what's really going on, honestly. Even them, the
I
people
don't
running the
know.
country, even the
Put
people,
out, put in, I don't know.
even the people running it. I have a belief that I think all this money stuff and debt stuff is made up because every
think-
country's in the hole.
I
I mean-
think them kept saying, got to be done by May 31st. And this crap. That's a bunch of bull.
Yeah. What are they going to do? Like shut the country down 100%? That would never happen.
Yeah.
Well, we've been through numerous of these in my lifetime,
Mm-hmm.
and never
This
has
is nothing new.
It's nothing new, and nothing has ever been accomplished by it because they say they're going to save $10 trillion or whatever the number is. Okay, it never happens. It doesn't.
No.
You don't even save $1 trillion.
No, and governments aren't made to make a profit. They're not there to make a profit.
Government's primary purpose is to control us, the citizens.
Yeah.
That's their primary purpose. At this
In a
point.
way,
At this
yeah,
point.
yeah.
At this point.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. Yeah. You got to keep everything in check. But no one's ever been able to explain to me how all of a sudden the country is going to go bankrupt and who's going to Who's going to run us? Who's going to take over?
And what do? They're going to take away Social Security, Medicare as a scare tactic to the people who need that money. So it scares the hell out of them.
Yeah, I think
That's exactly what they did.
I disagree with you, Paul. If they're going to take it away, what's going to happen is because of inflation, it's going to become more and more worthless. Okay, they will not physically say there is no more Social Security. All right, it's just going to be you're not going to get any increases, and your purchasing power is just going to disappear. Well,
It already is. It's disappearing now.
Quick look up, Cathy.
What's that?
Quick look up.
Yeah.
How much has the dollar depreciated since, let's say, the 1970s? I mean, I know what it is since the Federal Reserve was created. And that was, and the dollar is worth about 2 cents now in purchasing power.
Today's prices are 7.82 times as high as average prices since 1970.
Okay.
A dollar today only buys back 12.8% of what it could buy back.
so. It only buys back 12.8%.
In 1970, we could only buy 12% of what we could buy in 1970 for a dollar. Much worse than even I thought.
Yeah, 12%. Yep.
Okay.
Let's see.
Researcher.
Anytime.
Well, you look at it, but no one really. What's going to happen? No one's going to change it.
The middle class is disappearing, Rich.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And I think it already has, honestly.
And that's by design.
Yep. You have the lower class, you have the upper class, and we're stuck in the middle.
But we're
Drinking pool water.
Most of us are heading down towards.
Yeah. So my question has always been, what's gonna happen to do anything about it? What are we gonna be able to change?
Dean Foley says, as a former journalism student in the 90s, today's journalism is more aligned with editorial opinion than actual facts. We talked about this.
Absolutely.
We talked about this the other day.
Yeah.
Kathy, was it you and I that talked about it? Just briefly, we talked about how news is not really news anymore. It's just opinion.
Yeah. You and I have talked about it.
You and I have talked about it too.
Yeah, there's no facts. It's just
No.
what people think.
It's the spin they want to put on it at the time.
And she goes on to say, if facts change per the source, then it is not a fact. It's an opinion.
There's an old expression that everybody is entitled to their opinion, but no one is entitled to their own facts.
Right.
Right.
Mike Gricka says the bankers wrote the Federal Reserve Act. It's like the cartel writing laws.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you look at any.
And the Federal Reserve is people are under it's not federal, and they have no reserves. Okay, it's a total misnomer.
But you look at any legislation, any standard for anything, it's written by the people that control the money that has to be, spent to buy the products that they're saying is required. It's.
I mean, they went to Jekyll. The bankers went to Jekyll Island. What? I don't remember the exact year. I know the Federal Reserve was created in 1913. Okay, and they had a secret meeting down there. And as I remember correctly, they got that Federal Reserve law approved, like at the last instant when most people weren't even in the Congress. They were off on vacation. I don't know if it was at Christmas time. I don't remember.
Well, they say it's based on the gold that's being stored, but now they're saying the gold isn't really there.
The gold isn't there.
So who knows? That's
Why haven't we had an audit since a real audit?
The 70s, right?
Maybe back to the 50s, Rich. I'm not sure. Ron Paul has tried to get it audited for years. Won't happen.
Speaking of the banking industry, they're saying they recommend that anybody who rolls money in like PayPal or any of the cash apps, where you keep money in there, get it out of there because it's not protected like the bank. If something fails,
Yeah.
you're gonna lose your money.
Yeah. So if they, what is it? The insurance that the banks have.
Bank insurance.
Yeah.
So they're not insured, so you want to get your money out of there in case.
Yeah. I don't know why anybody would want to keep it in there. Well, you keep $25 to pay for something, but using it as a bank.
I don't keep money in there.
Well,
Some people do. So I'm saying I don't know why they would want to.
No, I know.
But
right now, one of the best interests you can get is short-term treasury bills, 30, 60, 90-day treasury bills. The last time I checked, they were paying about almost 5.7%.
Oh.
That's if you want to invest in a government that's bankrupt.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think they're bankrupt. I don't think it exists.
Other countries are buying U.S. debt.
You're going to start to see all that debt coming back to this country, and that's going to cause inflation to skyrocket. Look at Saudi Arabia.
Mhm.
They're dumping the dollar. They're joining the BRICS. Okay, Brazil, Russia, China, India. I forget the fifth one at the moment. Okay, and look, the Chinese have been buying hundreds of tons of gold yearly. All right. India, of course, I think they just bought 350 million ounces of silver. Okay, gold and silver have always been the standard. I mean, this paper we carry around in our pocket isn't worth the ink it's
Is China buying gold for all the chips they're using to build missiles and stuff, though? Or?
No, they're talking about having a Chinese currency that's backed by gold, like the United States used to be.
Mm.
Once they did away with the gold reserve, there was no control over how much spending you could have.
Well, the dollar bills back then years ago used to say gold certificate.
Or silver.
Now
Silver certificate. Yeah, I remember that.
That
Yeah.
was original gold, then it went to silver. Now it's a Federal Reserve note.
Which is meaningless.
But it still buys stuff, so why is it meaningless? That's what I don't understand.
Well, because what the reference your
Yeah.
wife just came up with is that the purchasing power of it is diminished by almost 90% since 1970.
Yeah, but I'm thinking one day they could just turn around and all of a sudden say, "Oh, we found money that doesn't exist, so we're going to change it. And now everything is cheaper than it used to be." That's why I don't understand what.
They do that every
Yeah.
day, Rich, by creating new dollars.
Right, but it's not backed by anything, right?
That's correct.
So they're just making it up. That's what I mean. Everything is made up. So one day they'll turn around and say, "Oh, I think it's okay now," and then, you know what I'm saying? I think it's all.
Kevin Cunningham says, "I invest in ice cream
There you go.
And donuts.
and donuts." Yeah.
Oh, I got to talk to him one day too.
Aaron.
What?
Aaron.
Oh.
Says can't be bankrupt if they keep printing money like toilet.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's saying exactly what I'm thinking.
Print more money.
Yeah, but
There is no paper currency in history that has not eventually gone to zero. In history.
I guess I can't wrap my head around the whole.
Well, yeah, that's the problem. Most people can't. Look at the stories about in Germany after World War I. You'd show up with a wheelbarrow full of money. Okay, I mean, I have stamps. I used to collect stamps, and they was restamped. You know, a stamp that was worth 1 mark was maybe restamped 10 million marks.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Victoria says China is loaning a lot of money out to different countries. Many are close to defaulting on payments. Now, what if we owe them a lot of money and we default?
That's my point.
What are you gonna do about it?
Right, that's my point.
Exactly.
What are they gonna?
There's another old saying: if you own the bank $100,000, the bank has got you. If you own the bank $100 million, you got the bank.
What are you gonna do about it?
Right, what are they gonna do? Just start moving our stuff out of the country and call it China for now? I don't. That's what.
Who knows?
I don't.
What are you gonna
the
do
process
about it?
doesn't seem to have an end. That's what I'm. You know what I mean? There's no. Like you said, you don't make your payments on your house. What do?
They take your house.
They take your house. China ain't gonna
In
come
years,
in and
though,
take the US.
it's not like they just take your house. It's like 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And you could literally,
Mhm.
and I don't recommend this, but you could because your credit's done. But then you can't get a mortgage for 4 years or something like that.
Seven now.
No, really, that's
Yeah.
bankruptcy. But I mean, if you default on a mortgage,
Yeah.
you know,
You
I
might be
think
right.
I think it's 3 or 4. Could we?
You might be
All right.
right. Yeah.
So yeah, if you're defaulting on your mortgage, you could literally live there
Mhm.
for. I'm gonna go 3 years. I'll say 3 years. And what do you do in those 3 years? You save your money and you buy a house for cash, right? And you go, I don't care about my credit. I own this bitch free and clear.
And you know what's so stupid about all of this, Mike, is that the banks
I'm not saying do it. I'm just saying.
But the banks, they get all these houses
Mhm.
that they're foreclosed on. Okay, and I used to go to bank foreclosures, and I was there with another professional investor, and we both had looked at a property, and we were within $5,000 of each other of what we were willing to pay for this property. Okay, it had the heating system been stolen out of it, and all kinds of other things. The bank with their debt that they wanted to collect, including legal pre. They bid in $145,000 for this property. This other guy and I, we were at the $90,000 level. Okay, so it sat there for 2 more years deteriorating,
Mhm.
and ultimately, most of those mortgages are FAA or Freddie Mac, Fannie Mae, one of those. And who's paying for those? We are the taxpayers.
Sure.
With that lost money.
Right. But I mean, if we go bankrupt as a country, who's going to come in and
China's going to come in.
how?
What are you gonna do about it?
How are they going to come in? All we got to do is put
Are
our
you gonna
guys
take us
at the,
over?
Yeah, we put our
What's
guys
that?
at the border and say, yeah, come take our property, like they used to do in the old days. I mean, it's
If that was the case, why don't we have a massive number of authorities on the border as it is?
oh, that's a whole other.
I know it is.
If China came in and took over, we would not have the freedoms that we have today.
Right.
Everything would change. Washington would be Washington like it is today.
Yeah, I don't think it would ever happen.
No, I don't think so either.
Well, these young squirts don't begin to recognize the freedoms we had when we were younger. Okay, we've already given up tons of our freedoms.
Well, that's the key. You gave it up.
Well,
Well,
we gave it up because we're passive.
Right.
We let the government do it to
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
If anybody hasn't gathered by now from my conversation, and I'm an anti-government person.
Well, I think a lot of people today are anti-government because of what's happening
Yeah.
in the world today. I never really was anti-government, but I just don't like the way things are going now. So I'm kind of like, I don't trust the government anymore either.
Can't hear you, Paul.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You're mumbling.
Not mumbling, you just can't hear me. What I'm saying is, I never was really anti-government either,
Mhm.
but I think now the way things are going, it's changing my mind.
Yeah.
I just don't trust them because I don't trust anybody in the legislature.
Mhm.
You know,
And there's more and more of us feeling that pull.
that's what I mean. I think a lot of people feel that way now because
Fear.
I think,
Mike says fear.
yeah.
Aaron, Aaron. Where are you, in Indiana? Or Ohio? I don't know. He says, I'm a real estate appraiser. The amount people are willing to pay for a basic small house has become insanely high.
It's in Ohio.
But it's the same thing here.
Yeah.
It's the same thing
Oh, it's
here.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Melissa and I were looking just for fun one day, looking at listings.
Yeah.
And some of the houses and some of the prices are absolutely insane.
This magazine this morning I was looking at
Insane.
459,000. Griswold 760.
Well, what are you getting for that money?
That.
Not what
It's
you.
like a normal house with the one-car garage.
Yeah, what you get for 175,000 years ago.
I get friends in Massachusetts that I'm in contact with all the time. A raised ranch down here that you're paying $400,000 for, they're getting $650 for in Massachusetts. Same house.
Yeah.
Why?
There's a regular
Because
ranch
people are
gym.
paying it.
There's a regular ranch, Jim, just a regular flat ranch on one single floor, right? $480,000 combined. If you don't mind. Raised ranch in Griswold, right? Two-car garage, $449,000.
Jeez.
My son and grandson sold this too cheap.
Holy cow.
But it's supply and demand. You got people today thinking they have to live in one of those houses to be a good person.
I built my own house in 1973. It cost me $23,000.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, granted, my dad gave me a lot of land, which was worth $1,000 at that point. And the only thing that wasn't finished in the house was, carpeting and flooring. $23,000.
Hmm.
That house today, you're paying. Well, down here, you're paying Jesus $350,000 to $450,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In Massachusetts, you're paying $650,000.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I was reading an article that right now a lot of people are defaulting on their car loans.
Yeah, I think becoming a repo man is probably going to be a big business in the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
Because during COVID, people were buying cars like crazy, and they were overpaying like crazy.
Yeah, because they were getting money
Yeah,
from
that's
the
it. They were
government.
paying
And
with free money, supposedly.
Right, and they're also financing for 7
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
cars.
Look at the prices.
What? I mean, it's absolutely crazy. So, I know, not personally,
Mhm.
but I know of people, and I've heard this from more than one source, that they're paying for their car payment $700, $800, $1,200 a month.
Yep.
For their car payment.
Yep.
I know of one truck sale that I heard from a very reliable source that I'm not going to say the make and model, not at least in this form, that list at $48,900.
Yep.
They paid $90,000.
90?
$90,000.
Why would they do that?
Because they got the money to blow and they wanted it, and they're flexing. That's it. They're just peacocking a little bit, and here we go.
I mean, what's a cheap model Ford or Chevy pickup truck cost now?
Right.
Over 40 grand.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah.
They got you by the balls. You don't have a choice.
Or are they racking those prices up so high to the point where, ooh, maybe I'll get that electric vehicle?
That's another subject.
No,
Yeah.
I think we can have a nice round table on that one too.
Oh,
Mike.
yeah.
I'm not saying right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm just throwing it out there.
I'll say it. It's wrong.
Just
The
throwing
electric,
it out. But is that what they're doing? Are they influencing? Are the
marketing.
American car makers influenced because of whatever money they're getting or tax breaks that they're getting
100%.
to move their prices in a different direction to go ahead to make EVs look incredibly tasty to the American public?
Well,
they're not cheap.
Right.
They're not
But
cheap.
they're cheaper. Some of them are cheaper.
Well, again, it's supply and demand. You look at California, you have to have an electric vehicle by a certain date. Or you can't buy a gas-powered vehicle after a certain date.
okay, here's the
Yeah.
here's the real
So you don't
problem.
have a choice.
Here's the real problem. The electric grid is stressed to the max
Oh,
now,
yeah.
okay?
Mhm.
The electric grid is not going to support it. And we are doing everything we can to reduce the generating capacity in this country.
Yeah.
All this solar and all this wind
Still not
is
enough.
blowing in the wind, to be honest.
Yeah.
Okay?
It's not enough.
In California, Pacific Gas and Electric, they got their own problems now out there.
Mhm.
California, and they're the ones that are implementing EVs. Now, if you want to do a hybrid, which is a combination of the gas or fossil fuel and electricity, that maybe makes some sense. But pure hybrids,
Well, again, follow the money. Follow the money. Who's making the laws and who are they being influenced by?
you've been talking to my friend Wayne. He always
I
talks
mean-
about following the money.
Yeah.
You want to buy a good Tesla, it's going to cost you $78,000-$80,000.
That much they are now?
I mean, think about it. If you want an Nestor that goes further, 400, 500, 600 miles, got to pay extra. If you want all-wheel drive, got to pay extra. If you want it to drive by itself, you got to pay extra. So you're paying like $70,000, $80,000.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Bring it back here. If I had a $70,000 or $80,000 car that lived in Griswold, what do you think my breaking taxes on that car alone?
Yeah.
$1,500.
And the carbon footprint of building those cars, they say you have to drive them for like 5 or 6 years before it equals the carbon footprint of the gas
There you go.
Yeah.
to balance it out.
Yeah, it's all a ghost, smoke screen rather. There's no, this whole climate change thing.
To a large degree.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's the climate change. Yeah. It's been changing since the age of the dinosaurs. Yeah.
I mean, I know Mike and I have talked about it before. I rail about, you got one arm of the government that says, we got to do with CO2, okay?
Mhm.
Well, if you do away with CO2, there is no life.
Yeah, we're dead.
To begin with, okay? But here we are, we get held up for half an hour in traffic going down 395 because they're cutting down acres of trees along the highway.
Mm-hmm.
Those trees take the CO2 convert it back to hydrogen, to carbon and oxygen.
Right.
And then, we're worried about the CO2, yet we're removing the method of converting it back to natural elements.
That's costing us millions to do that.
Yeah. Why are they doing that?
Because of
So a tree don't fall on the
all the
highway.
money.
Yeah.
because of what happened on the highway there. That's going out of
Yeah.
Route 15. You mean the Merritt? Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
a couple trees fell during a storm and killed somebody. So
Yeah.
now
Yeah. One person died. We got to change everything.
So now
That's,
10 million people will die from lack of CO2.
Right. It's again, like you said, follow the money. That's all it is. And
yeah, I mean, New England highways don't look like New England highways. They just blah. It's like going down through the desert in Arizona. Nothing there.
yeah, it's if you can move.
Terrible.
Yeah. But giddy up.
So
Giddy up.
I'll say this was an interesting. This was a really good, in my opinion, going around the round table here.
Cortland.
Oh,
Kenny.
Court.
Hey.
Haven't seen him in a while.
I saw him last night.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
Nice.
It was nice. It was nice to see him for 5-10 minutes. We're being manipulated, herded like cattle.
Spoken like a true farmer.
Yeah.
No, we are though.
Oh, yep.
Yeah.
We are. And the problem is we don't have a choice. That's the sad thing.
Power in numbers.
I mean, you always have a choice, but your choice is based on what you need. And if they take away what you need, what are you going to do?
Rich, there's a lot of places we have no choice in anymore.
Yep.
Okay.
Like, for instance, we had to buy a new vehicle because my Jeep was crapping out. So what do we have to do? We got to go spend the money on the vehicle. And you can't get one anymore that's reliable without paying out your ass.
Yeah.
So you don't have a choice. It's
Now, if you can find a good 50 Chevy, go buy that.
yeah, it's a stick then, right?
No.
They had
well,
automatics back?
No, they did have. I think they did have automatics.
Did they?
I think so.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Everything I had was a stick, but when you said stick, I was thinking on the floor that was on the column.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we're all being herded by the people, and I also blame the voters.
And I could pull an engine in a 50 Chevy in probably 3 hours.
Yeah.
It takes 3 days to pull an engine in these guys.
Yeah. You can't. But you think about it. If the voters keep putting these people in, they want to bitch about everything all the time. But what do? They keep putting the same people in. So yeah.
Well, they keep putting the same people in because the same people keep getting stuff for free.
That's just what
I mean, what do you think they do this for?
They bought the votes.
That's what it is.
Pretty much.
I mean, look at what do you think they're pushing a student loan for? You think they're pushing that because they want to help out the kids? Well, only they want their votes.
Oh yeah.
And how about all those people that have already paid or are still paid a
There's
lot
room.
on their student loans?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's why they're doing that.
Selected, not selected. Oh,
Selected, not elected.
Yeah. I haven't heard that one, but I like that one. Who was that from?
Mike Ricca.
The simple. I don't think there's any simple solution. So
If there was, it would have happened already.
Well, hit reset.
I mean, we had the opportunity in this state.
They are resetting, just a different way.
We tried to change the legislature in this state. We couldn't do it because there's not enough people that disagree because everything on the other end of the state gets everything. So
Yep.
why am I going to give up? I just saw that he's given $10 million to all the senior centers. So come on.
Given to who?
Senior centers. All the senior centers are going to get $10 million to fix them up and do their thing. We just built them.
Wait a minute, you're saying every senior center is
Well,
getting $10 million?
No, he's got $10 million to spread out.
Oh, okay.
So the
That's a little
seniors-
different.
No, he's given $10 million to senior centers to make them, come up to standard. We just built ours.
So you take that money. Can you take that money that they're going to get and pay off some of the
Whatever.
notes?
What's he going to do?
Well, what's this? Isn't he talking about a 1.5 billion dollar surplus this year in the budget?
He was talking about that, yeah.
I'm telling you right
trying
now.
That's why he's trying to reduce the sales tax.
I'm telling you right now, Governor Lamont, mark my words, he is positioning himself for a job in Washington.
Exactly. You know why? He is on Biden's reelection staff.
Is he?
He is. He's a member of the group that's on his reelection staff.
So nothing will get done then. That's fine.
So I guess if he gets in, he's heading to Washington.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything that he does.
I'm positive of that.
I agree with you.
So
So
I
all
agree
this,
with you.
so it just baffles me. All of a sudden, they found $1.5 billion that they didn't have before.
I don't know. I think that's what I heard. is
No, I think you're
1.5.
right, Jim.
So, for
Wow.
example, like I get press releases, right? And I get them from the state,
Mhm.
you know, as obviously as well. And every time President Biden does something, Ned sends out a thank you letter or, you know, or a support document, you know, to say, you know, way to go, rah, rah, rah,
Way to
let's
go,
support.
Joe.
Yeah, let's go, Joe. And he sends that out. Malloy didn't ever do that. I never saw anything from Malloy that did that, but Lamont does.
There's a name for that.
What's that?
An ass kisser.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah.
So if it's $10 million that the senior centers have to kind of mooch from and get, if you divided that equally, it's $59,000 because there's 169 towns. Let's just say there's.
It's going to be the central part and the western part of the state. They're the ones that get the money. Look at all the re-education things that are going on in the state. Where are they? Hartford, New Haven,
Bridgeport.
Marbury, Bridgeport. There's nothing coming here.
What's the re-education thing?
He's got money.
So you're talking about surplus in the Board of Eds? That's what you're talking about? All right.
Well, there's some people that are concerned about that's going to create a fiscal cliff next year. Because once you put that money into the budget because of the MBR, the minimum budget requirement for the school,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you can't go backwards unless you have a major issue. Like if you had a lot of student loss, okay,
Yeah.
you can cut your budget.
They're not going to.
But
Go ahead.
no,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but right now, I mean, we got that out of what was it, 650? I think we took out a surplus for the school. I mean, and hey, they took 250 out for capital too.
Mhm.
All right, but the capital is a one-time thing. They don't have to refund that again next year.
Mhm.
The school would have to refund that. What 650 has to stay in the budget.
Court Kinney just brings up a very, very interesting point. You ready?
Yep.
So is Lamont the last-minute replacement for Biden when the puppet masters don't let him remain?
That's an interesting point. It's an interesting point.
Because he's really priming himself
Yep.
for that. Maybe he's being groomed.
Well, that's a good question because you got the governor of California. He's sucking around trying to get in there as well.
I don't know if anybody would know Lamont's name outside of Connecticut enough to run for a primary.
Well, look at the caucus in Massachusetts many years
Songus.
ago. The caucus.
Paul Songus. I was thinking Paul Songus.
I remember
Well, he's
the
right. The
caucus.
caucus was running.
Yeah.
Songus was he was a senator.
He was a senator, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think he'd have to do something. I think Lamont would have to get his name a lot higher.
Well, he's on Biden's staff.
Yeah.
Re-election.
Well, even Clinton. I mean, he was out of Arkansas. Who voted Clinton before he ran for president?
I don't know. I was too young back then. I don't really pay attention. I remember the cigar, but that's about it. But I think you have to have enough power in the primary, so he'd have to do a lot more before the primary.
Have sex with that woman.
We'll define sex.
That's it. Yeah.
You know?
Today, who knows what the definition would be?
Yeah.
Well, the blue dress is in the Smithsonian Institute.
You know, how many snaps you got would count on whether or not you had sex, I guess. That would be the...
Let's see. Newsom is a hot mess, says Victoria, California is a hot mess, and people know it. He won't get in.
Yeah.
I hope not.
He ran that thing.
But as far as who knows Lamont, well, I think more and more every day are learning who Ned Lamont is, within, and I'm not talking about what he does, but within the Democratic Party.
Well, I mean, it has to be a national vote. It's not. That's what I'm saying. It's a national vote. It's not Northeast. It's a national. So
Why do you think he's pushing this new gun control thing?
yeah, I could go off the wall on that one. Yeah.
I know, but he's pushing it.
Yeah, he is. He's pushing it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, Joe. Sorry, I'm going to play executive soldier on that one. Not today.
No, you might be right. He might be.
Why he's pushing
He gets it passed, which I don't think it will, 100%. But if he gets it passed, yeah.
How many people knew who Obama was before? Right.
People in Chicago.
Well, I think that one was a little special, I think, because now you're pushing the black person running for office. So I think that had a lot of push on that end of it versus if he was a white male from Chicago, right? You said? I don't know if it would have gone. I don't know if it would have pushed as well as it did, but that was the.
Well, the country was ready
for a black president.
for a black president.
So and.
But you know what? I don't think it's ready for, and I'm going to get. Oh my God!
You're going to get crucified. I know. What
I'm going to get crucified.
I know what you're going to say.
The country is not ready for a female president.
I knew you were going to say that.
No, I think they're ready. Personally, I think
no. Then Hillary would have went. Hillary would have got in.
Well, I think Hillary didn't get in because she was Hillary.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Then who?
There's
what female?
The female that you were.
Do not say AOC.
No. I'd probably get arrested for what I would want to say. Remember the lady we were talking about, the black Republican, Candace Owens was.
She's
I got nothing against females, and I would love to see a female president, but because most of the time I think they're smarter than guys. But I really think that as a whole, I think the elections have proven not just nationally but locally.
I'd like to see a middle of the road female president.
Nikki Haley, how's that name?
I used to be a supporter of Nikki Haley, but not now.
Who's she?
Governor of
ex-governor.
Ex-governor of North Carolina.
She was the ambassador to the United Nations.
Oh,
she's smart.
You just need a qualified person. I don't care if they're black, white, purple, male, female, couldn't care less.
Yeah, me too.
That would be interesting. Qualification process.
Jennifer says, "Ouch," and I think she's saying "ouch" about my comment. Not personal, Jennifer. It is not personal. It's just I think it would have happened by now. Okay, Ferraro. What happened there? Vice president, right? She ran for vice. She was, on the vice president. Did she run for president?
I think she had a hat in the ring for it.
Yeah,
I think so. That's quite a while ago.
And I don't. All right. Here's why I think that America is not ready for a female president because there haven't been enough. There haven't been enough running. You know what I mean? You throw a couple in here and there over the last 30 years. It's not enough. There have been other black people running for president that didn't, get
There's a ton right now going for the primary.
There haven't been enough.
I think the problem we have is the process.
I think
to run for it.
I think if there are more women over the years that run for president or vice president that are more, I think it's conditioning. I think it's conditioning to the American people.
Well, look at the process.
I don't have a problem with it.
You have to run into the primary. But in order to do that, you have to raise so many funds.
Money.
Which that should be taken out of the requirements. Money should be taken out 100%. Why would you say someone has to raise this amount of money to run for a position in government?
You should.
So.
And maybe we should go. I'm not usually in favor of this kind of thing, but maybe we should go for funding by
the party.
By the nation.
The nation?
By the nation. And depending on the level of the office you're running for, that determines how much money you get to spend. And you don't get to spend any more money than the next candidate that's decided it. Just because you're a multimillionaire or a billionaire, you can't throw $100 million into your campaign while the person that's trying to challenge you can only spend $1 million.
What I'm saying is, in order for someone to run in Connecticut to be a representative, you have to personally raise a certain amount of money to even qualify to run for that office. Not what to spend, but just to qualify to run.
We need to limit the spending.
Yeah.
And not only that, we don't need a 2-year primary.
Right.
Okay, I mean.
Who's listening by then? Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's Canada? They do their election.
I have no idea.
3 months or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't remember, but it's we're absurd.
Mhm.
You know who's going to fight it the most? The TV owners.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because there's hundreds, there's probably multiple billions of advertising
Probably
spent.
funds their whole company.
Yeah.
But-
So Jennifer says, here is the 100% truth, according to Jennifer.
Okay. I'm
the
glad you
truth,
clarified that.
according to Jennifer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see what you say. Even though many Americans believe women are just as deserving as men when it comes to leadership, gender bias remains, making it impossible for a woman to lead this country.
Well,
And I'm going to comment on that saying, okay, because there haven't been enough women that are running for the highest office or even put their bid in for it.
right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a white American male. It doesn't matter if you're a black female or nothing like that. Okay. Look, Kamala Harris, she's our vice president, right? I think we're moving to that. Look how long it took us as a country to have an African American president.
Yeah.
A long time.
Well, the thing
All right?
is,
This is not gender bias. This is we're just not conditioned for it. You got to buy a lot of ads to condition people, right? You're conditioned to buy a freaking hamburger at McDonald's, right? When you want lunch, right? Or if you're driving by, ooh, I want a chicken sandwich. But we're not conditioned enough until the elections start. Why? Because we never heard of Obama. We never heard of Dukakis. We didn't hear of any of these people until it got through the media.
well, I only disagree on two aspects. One,
How
if
about
someone
three?
wants something, they have to try and do it. So a woman wants office, they have to run. So people have to stop saying, I'm not, I can't, I'll never get voted in. I'll never get voted in.
No. I think there are a lot of female that want to, but are held
do it.
back.
They're not held back.
Huh?
They're not
They're
held.
holding themselves back.
There's no strap
You think
to
so?
putting them in a chair.
I think the big parties are holding them back.
I'll throw a name out. Michelle Obama.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, the only people that say that I can't. do
Barack
something
would make
are
a
the
great
ones that
first
don't.
lady.
Well,
just
I mean,
Think about it.
Yeah. No.
I worked for the research division.
You what?
The research division. All right. And I worked with an awful lot of really smart women.
Mhm.
I just have all the respect on the world for them.
Mhm.
And I would personally would love to see middle of the road, qualified. And when I say smart, they don't have to be brilliant. You got to have a lot of common
I'd say
sense.
common sense is probably
Okay.
the biggest.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, so if the right lady ran,
Right.
well,
I would vote for Michelle Obama.
my favorite lady that I'm aware of at the moment, a lot of people disagree, is Heather Summers.
I agree.
I'd love to see her run for governor.
Yeah, I think she'd be a
You
good
know how many
governor.
times I've talked about her on the radio in the past, Mike?
Going back to the only thing that's keeping someone back from doing something is themselves. That's all there is to it.
And people who say, well, I'm only one person and I can't make a difference.
Yeah.
I say, BS, because as one person, you can make a difference.
Right. I'll agree. History has not allowed, or that they've been constantly told they can't do something. But there's a lot of successful women that say, screw you, I'm going out, I'm doing it anyway, and they do it.
Yeah.
It's up to them to do it.
Unfortunately, I think Kamala Harris is not a good representation of
No.
female leadership.
No.
She has not proven herself,
Right.
in my eyes, and I'm sure a lot of other people's eyes, that she can handle that. I mean, she talks in circles.
I don't think she knows what she's talking
I don't
about.
even know
so that's
She
why
was given
she's
a
talking.
platform, and this is what she did with the platform. Okay, not enough women have been given that platform. Michelle Obama had that platform,
And she did fine, right?
and she did great.
Yeah.
And I'll say it again. I would vote for Michelle Obama. I would absolutely vote for Heather Summers.
Mhm.
We've talked about it many times. I don't ever personally co-sign or through here any candidate, but I did with Heather Summers because that's one lady I really believe in,
Mhm.
and not because she's a woman, because she knows her stuff.
I
And
mean,
she's good. She's tough.
and she's diligent.
Mhm.
And I mean, I have my differences with Heather. Okay. But I'm not gonna let one small difference over here impact the huge benefit that I see from that
Yeah, you
lady.
can't always agree 100% all the time, but
Yeah.
there's other countries that have prime ministers that are females.
Oh, look at England.
Yeah. So the woman can do it. I think in this country,
Germany,
they have to stop saying I can't do it and step up and do it if that's what they want to do. And
Well, look at their
get your
countries
name out
compared
there.
to ours. You know, Ella T. Grasso.
Yeah. So it's possible.
Before my time.
Well, she unfortunately passed due to cancer. But she was one of the most popular governors, in the state.
Never knew her.
M. Jody Rell.
Yeah, Rel. I mean, I think Rel is the only one that I've thought of that was good since I've been in Connecticut.
These are women that I think that did a great job, and I think there's tons and millions out there that can.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head a little bit. The females that have been put up into those higher positions were not good representatives of the female population. So I think that's exactly what some of the problem is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent.
That's Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher, yeah.
Or India.
Indian?
Yeah.
Well, I think what she was saying has a good merit is we need to stop looking at people as female, Indian, black, white, this, because everyone claims discrimination, but they play the card that makes them look great. Like I'm a black American running for president. I don't care you're black.
Yeah, I don't.
Take it out of there.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to throw something at y'all,
Okay.
and I want you to go ahead and tell me either yes or no. There's
Just yes or
gray,
no?
Just yes or no, no gray area, right?
Okay.
All right. To each one of you, and you people in the chat room too, I really would like to know. Let's say the perfect candidate ran that Paul likes, that Jim likes, that Cathy likes. No name, just the perfect candidate that embodies everything that a president would do. Same thing with you, Rich. Okay?
I'm a little. What are you looking for?
I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet.
All right.
So I'm just saying, because the reason why I'm saying this is because what you're looking for in a president maybe is going to be different than Jim. It's going to be than Rich,
Absolutely.
than me. Okay? So here it is, right? We're talking about women. We're talking about African American male and females. Okay?
Mhm.
That candidate is trans. Do you vote for them?
I would vote for them because I don't care what your sexual orientation is. You can,
Okay.
You can.
So
have,
yes or no?
yes.
Yes, Paul.
I would vote for it.
Okay.
Mhm.
We say that. But right now in this society, it's unfortunate, but if you put a trans person in there, it ain't gonna happen.
I agree with
It's
you.
more to it than that.
I know it's more to it. I know
That's
it.
very superficial. There's way more to it than just,
trans-
than just the label.
I think it sucks. But yeah, right. But what do you think is gonna get pushed by the other party?
How would people know they're trans?
They came out, they were trans. Chris Christie. Chris Christie.
He's trans?
No, but he's
Oh,
gay,
that's-
correct?
I don't know.
Is
Is
he
he?
gay?
He's gay?
Yeah. I believe he's gay.
I have no.
So
idea.
what?
I never heard
That's
of
what
it.
I'm saying. I don't know.
You know why we don't know? It's because he doesn't put it out there to the world. Like, hey, I'm gay.
Who's somebody? Hold on, I gotta look it up now because
I thought he was married to a woman. I mean, that doesn't.
Well, that could be too.
Yeah, but
maybe I got the name wrong. But let me.
would there be pushback because they are trans? Yeah.
But here's the thing.
By a lot of people.
Yeah.
You asked us a specific question if it's trans,
Yeah.
but that's not the important thing.
Right.
The important thing is, can that person do the job?
I get it.
But that's that question you gave us is loaded.
No,
And
it
you
wasn't.
knew- come on.
Very low.
I think it was
There's so much more to it than just that label.
Yes. That's
He asked
right.
he asked a very specific,
Right.
narrow question,
Yeah.
and we all answered it. Okay,
Yeah.
but as Cathy's saying, it's
Yeah.
much.
When you get down to the
It was
final-
McGreevy, Jim McGreevy.
Okay.
There's a trans guy in the White House now. What is he?
Oh.
The
Biden?
The health general.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a trans.
Yeah.
He's a
Really?
guy that's a woman.
Wow, I haven't seen him or her speak or whatever.
Yeah. He's what the hell do they call him? Something to do with health.
Not the public health director or something like that, right?
Secretary of Health and Human Services.
Is that what it is?
No. He's a general of something.
Oh, the Surgeon General?
Yeah.
Oh,
Surgeon
Okay,
General.
Surgeon General.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a trans. That's
Okay.
a trans.
But do they do
That's
the job?
a trans?
Yeah.
How about that person is trans?
All right, whatever. How you say it.
I'm saying you're going to get murdered. You're in the chat room. That's why.
Well, but a lot of times their pronoun is it. So that would be the same as using it as a pronoun.
You know what the problem is? You can't say anything.
Health
anymore.
secretary, Mike says.
Health secretary. You can't say anything anymore unless it's
Rachel Levine is the health secretary.
Rachel Levine. I have heard that name. Okay.
So I don't care. I don't care.
No, I get your
The
question,
reason-
but yes, I would if they could do the job. Yes, that's. Would that be my final vote? After
Okay,
this?
let me ask it.
Settle out?
Let me ask it in a different way. Is the American public ready to vote a trans person in as president?
No.
There you go. Then maybe that's a better way.
Especially if that was their platform.
Yeah, if their platform is that I'm
No.
trans, then no, I'm not voting for you.
If somebody didn't know they were trans, what the hell difference that they wouldn't know? What difference would it make?
It would
Don't
come
make
out.
that their platform.
It would come out. I understand that, and I understand.
Michelle Obama is trans.
No.
I could see that.
I know you guys are shooting barbs at me. I'm saying
I'm not shooting barbs.
it's like right now. I don't think a female would get in as president, not because they're not qualified, because the American public's not ready for it. I think as a whole, they won't vote it.
We have to have a candidate.
I don't know.
But they always thought they did. They always thought they did. And what happened?
The primary shut them down. It's not the American public that's making that decision. It's the party. It's individuals of a certain party that are making that decision.
They're not
If they can run.
financially to even get to
That's where a lot of it's coming from.
who was the lady that was CEO of Hewlett Packard? I think it was Hewlett Packard.
She ran for
She
president.
ran for
On
president. I
a
thought
ticket
she,
by herself?
Huh?
On a ticket by herself?
Oh, she was running around Republican.
All right, so she didn't get past the primary. That's the problem right there.
Didn't.
That's the problem. You're making a party of a certain group of people make a decision for the whole country who qualifies to run. That's usually based on whether or not they give the best party at the primary. You know what I'm saying?
Was she the CEO of
Yeah.
Hewlett Packard? That name doesn't ring the bell with me, but I'm pretty sure that must be the one right
I mean, I think that's where you get the problem is based on the party is making a decision who can run on a platform for the whole country.
Because they're saying that this person can win.
They want somebody to win.
I know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But look at based on trends. A lot of it is based on
Mhm.
trends. And when they go to the national convention, or before that, they decide who's going to run, right, as president or vice president or who they want on the ticket. They're looking at trends.
Yeah.
Okay? Because they're not just looking at that. They're looking at do they have a better chance of controlling the House?
Exactly. And
Right.
because right now, even though Trump is kind of like winning the popularity, he can't beat Biden according to all the statistics that are coming out.
Mhm.
DeSantis can beat him.
According to the statistics,
Right now, that's just
Biden couldn't beat him last time either. What happened? Biden beat him.
But you got it's also based on. I know when we go to a lot of these primaries, we already know who's we're voting for, and it's based on also what kind of politics is that person going to bring into the White House, and that's what's setting the trend.
And his money.
Right, and money is a huge aspect of it.
now. And I think you're part of the small group that actually researches people and you
Mhm.
know what they stand for, looking at their history, as opposed to what's being blown out there on the news
Right.
daily about them.
We're not even talking about special interest groups yet. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the money that's coming from that.
So,
Mhm.
so I mean, I'm going to say, and maybe the chat room's going to crucify me. But that's okay. I'm going to say that a lot of the public is an uneducated voter.
Yes.
100%. Yeah, they go, oh, who am I going to vote for today?
Or they use
A lot of
the
them,
media and think they're educated.
right?
Yeah.
And a lot of them are like, oh, there was an election today.
Because if the American public were educated voters, we would have had a female president a long time ago.
You'd have a new Congress too.
Exactly.
Qualified
I'll throw another one at you. What about term limits for everybody?
Absolutely.
Because you can't.
But I totally agree, but they're not going to vote themselves out.
No.
They're not going to vote themselves out.
You can't tell me that Biden and Trump were the two best candidates in this country to run.
No.
Those were our choices.
Right.
Yeah.
They're giving you
And,
They
choice.
gave
and
us
that's
those
the
choices.
and that's the problem, Mike. And that's where voting is almost worthless at this particular point. Because we don't get to vote for who we want. We get to vote for who an elite group has selected for us to
Right.
vote for.
Bingo. That's the problem
And
right
that's
there.
based on money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, follow the money. But again, what about term limits?
Absolutely.
Never happened.
I'm not saying it would, but because the Constitution doesn't allow it right now. But what a
You think Chuck Schumer would have voted for that?
No, and the other thing is, all our federal representatives and our state representatives should have the same benefits that we have. Okay, they shouldn't have a premier health plan. Okay, while the rest of us are paying. I mean, especially young people below Social Security age. Man, if they're not getting some health insurance from some company that they're working for, that I mean, I know 20. Going back 20 years, okay, I was paying over $10,000 a year for Carolyn's health insurance. Self-employed. That's 20 years ago. You know what the heck would that be today?
would be eligible to retire after 2 terms in office.
But in any organizations, even in private organizations, depending on where you are in that supply chain, you're going to get the extra bennies.
Oh yeah.
They don't get the same. The manager gets a certain amount, but when you move up to the next step, you're getting better benefits than the person that's below
CEO
you.
a $10 million
It just keeps
bonus.
going up.
And I think some of those are absurd also, but I'm actually focusing on the ones that are public employees. And I'm not picking on public employees, okay? Please don't think I am. I'm really picking on the high legislators that get all of these big perks. Okay?
So I always like to play the opposite side of it.
Good.
Who would run for it if they weren't getting those perks?
I think some people who really believed that they were going to be able to do some good and didn't get in there and have to play. You know, I got to give you this, even though it's a junk bill, because I need to support this bill, which everybody thinks is good. That's why I don't know if it should be the president. Independent vetoes of bills.
Yeah. I'm looking at it as how many people can we get to run for a committee just in the town? Where you have to spend 2 nights a week at a meeting, or 2 hours rather, at a meeting. And now you're looking at trying to get people to serve months and months and months. Sometimes going home at 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning because for some reason they can't make a decision about something. So who would run for that office? I think that's why they're throwing those bennies out there. But I don't know. I think it would never happen, but it's time to overhaul the whole process.
Speaking of office, have we heard any candidates coming up for selection?
I have not.
No, I haven't heard
They're
anybody.
coming into June already.
The only thing that I have heard is that there is somebody, but they're not saying the name.
I believe endorsements are like July timeframe. So we should be hearing something, I think.
But doesn't the paperwork have to be into the state?
July.
It is July.
Yeah. I haven't heard anybody.
No.
Not officially.
No, neither.
I hear rumors, but
I
can't
actually,
run by rumor.
I actually stopped hearing rumors. I heard something about a month ago that there was a name, but they're not saying it.
Does the public know there's the process coming up? That's probably something else to consider.
I don't know.
No one's knocking on the doors telling them?
I guess my question is, the Republican town committee or the Democrat town committee picks the individuals. How does a person get in to be selected as one of those individuals? They have to throw their name in the hat? I don't think people really
they have
know.
to throw their name in the hat. But they may not know how to
do it.
Right.
They can nominate people too, but then it's up to the person to say yay or nay.
Yeah,
so.
you can do a write-in, but
That's tough to win now. You know? I mean,
yeah,
people-
you have to
people
have
do
people
win.
sign, right? So many people have to sign for a write-in.
Well, if you're talking about on the ballot,
Yeah.
No, I mean anybody can write in.
No, you
any
can.
candidate,
Yeah,
any candidate's name.
you can get on the ballot. You can have as many Republicans or Democrats as want to run.
By themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they
on
won't.
their own. That's what, yeah. But I thought you had to have a certain amount of votes to get your name on like a certain amount of signatures to get your name on the ballot.
Oh, that probably is true.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Chris in Alabama says, "Nominate me, Mike Minarski."
Is he ready to move up here?
I don't know. He is the greatest chicken, by the way. The greatest. He's a chicken trucker.
Chicken trucker.
Yeah.
I'm glad.
Sometimes
you said
it's produce trucker. But
that.
right
I'm glad
now,
you're saying that correctly.
oh, yeah, that's a whole different thing. So, and also AA Ron says, write my name in. I'll run by write-in
And of course, some
via Ohio.
some people will be kind of foolish about it. They'll write in Mickey Mouse.
A Superman. Yeah, I've seen all. Yeah.
And I guess that's just expressing their total dislike of the candidates that are on the
Right.
ballot. You know?
I wonder how that registers when they put it in. When somebody writes in Donald
Just a
Duck,
write-in, I think.
what happens? Does it come up and say Donald Duck? What?
I don't know. Yeah, you're right. It does scan in. It
It does
does.
scan it.
Yeah, Jen's still in.
I don't know.
That's
She might be.
interesting.
She would probably have the answer.
So will they have to pull the ballot out? And,
I don't know.
well,
Good
Or does it
question.
just get ignored if it's a write-in?
that's what I'm wondering because they get scanned. So
That's a
the
good
write-ins
question.
are never going to win.
Yeah, especially if they don't even count them.
Right. Yeah.
Unless
But
you're
they
Jesse
should be
Ventura.
counted.
They should be. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Donald Duck got 2, Mickey Mouse got 3.
that's interesting.
That could win any borough election almost.
Yeah.
Let's change that. Daisy Duck.
Daisy Duck. There you go.
yes.
You could probably talk to enough people that are disgusted with the voting system to write in. We all write in the same name.
Oh my gosh.
Jennifer says we count write-in.
How?
Okay.
That's what we're wondering. How?
I don't know.
No, I'm saying to her. How?
Let's have a look at his ballot.
You have to pull and look at each one, and then that's the case.
I would
right?
think so. It would come out as a kick out, and they'd have to
Mhm.
read it by hand. Because it wouldn't register because there's no check.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
Well, you can vote early now.
But I've never seen that on. I've never seen that on the tape at the end. Duck won.
Well,
Right.
write down Daisy Duck this time when you're voting and see if it shows up on the tape.
Well, it depends on who's running. It's going to depend on who's running. If there's somebody running unopposed on any seat, I'm writing in Daisy Duck.
Okay.
trying to think of how it would come out. I'm thinking
I
it
don't know.
doesn't get counted. Technically.
It'd be nice if Jen came in. One of these days. I've invited her, but
She's a working lady.
I just keep saying no. Anyway, all right. Well, we've had a good show, but this is the longest we've gone in a long time. Except Cathy and I, we went a long time the other day. Yeah, yesterday.
So you church on yesterday. Didn't you?
We had two guests in. So, all right, but let's just answer this. Jen says yes. The tabulator notes whether there is text written in that field. It shows as write-in on the tabulator tape. If there are more than one, we would pull them and tabulate the names.
There you go.
Makes sense. All right. So next week, let's see. Monday we have DM Foley, who is a local author. She'll be in on Monday, and she's just about ready to. Well, actually, her fifth
That's
book is
the one
coming
that
out.
gave us a book, right?
Yeah. And Tuesday we will have Alex Greslak from the Board of Finance talking about the budget and the budget vote and the 0% increase, no mill increase this year. So that and then Chris says Chicken Trucker 2024. Chris is a little crazy, but he's fun. So Jim, Paul, Cathy, giddy up.
Giddy up.
Surprised nobody said giddy up this one.
Yeah. We jumped right in. That's why.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so we'll see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and definitely be safe most of all. And we'll see you Monday right here on
SNSN.
Giddy-up.
This year, Jewett City Savings Bank is proud to celebrate an incredible milestone: 150 years of helping individuals, families, and businesses succeed.